Hey everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the podcast of awesomeness. Welcome back. Actually, I should have said it with the episode number because lately I've been doing this mistake, I guess, that I haven't been numbering the episodes, but this is actually episode number 28. We've come a long way from episode number one, doing in the balconies, to episode number 28, doing in the balconies. So pretty much we're still in the balcony, but our guests have evolved from from not so great friend now to, renowned wrestlers from all over the world, from Italy, from France, from Japan. So we had people from all over the world, and today is no different. On our list of guests today, we actually do have somebody who's very very talented, and she's going to make her debut on the wrestling scene very soon, and she's going to tell all about um, what she's going to do, how she's going to conquer the entire wrestling world by her absolute amazing talent that I'm sure you'll all get to love. So let's not waste another minute. Without any further ado, let's welcome the stallion, Rains Rivers.
Hi.
There we go.
Yay. Hi, how's it going? Thank you
Hey,
for
how's it
having me on the
doing?
show. It's going
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good. How are
great.
you?
It's because I mentioned to some of my friends and I told him, hey, I'm gonna have a podcast, and they said, all right, great, yeah. Who's it? Who is it this time? I said, it's Reigns. I said, Roman Reigns? Really? It's like no. It's like so
Right,
I said
right.
like no, not
Should have been
yeah. I
like,
said
you
not
should be like,
yet. We'll
yeah, but
get
the
there.
much hotter version.
Yeah, I mean, true. That's very true. What I said to them is like not yet, but it's close. Not
Right.
yet, but it's close. We're gonna get there. So it's really great to have you on our show. So first of all, tell me like how are you like coping up with the entire this lockdown pandemic situation? How has your life been so far in 2020?
2020. Well, um, I fortunately have a great setup in my life to where the unfortunate
Mm-hmm.
situation of the world didn't affect me
Mm-hmm.
as it did everyone else. I'm very blessed and very lucky that I was still able to have an income um,
Mm-hmm.
and keep everything afloat. And honestly, because
Mm-hmm.
of the whole pandemic, um, a few things in my life actually turned around for the better. I like it
Okay.
sucks that it really is awful everything that's happening in the world, and I
Mm-hmm.
would never wish it on anybody. However, I
Mm-hmm.
can't fight the fact that because of everything that has happened, it has allowed me to
Yeah.
focus more and actually be more productive. Before, my life was very like go 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 go, and I never ever ever had time to do anything. And since when everything
Mm-hmm.
kind of stopped and slowed down, I was able to
Yeah.
take advantage of that. So I did that. So I didn't waste what was given to me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So everyone else around me, I have a vast variety of friends. So some of them, it hit them hard. And the ones that did hit them hard, wherever I could help out because I was doing okay, wherever I could help out, I
Mm-hmm.
most certainly did. Even for people that I don't know, I did that as well. And then, of course, for my other friends who are doing just fine, they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
So it's really a fluctuation. It really shows. Um, I feel like for example, like I've always been very entrepreneurial. I can't say that word right now. Entrepreneurial. Am I saying it right?
Pretty
you
much
know,
yes. Yes.
yeah, so for me, I've always my entire life been able to like finagle my way through things to make sure that I come out on top of things. And
Mm-hmm.
for people who haven't, I feel like a positive that came out of this is for them to find other routes, for them to find other ways. Like it's not always just the go to work 9 to 5 and wait for somebody to pay you. It's some
Yeah.
get out there and make things happen, because if you don't, then it's really going to blow up. So I feel like for other people, that is a positive that came out of a darkness. You know what I mean?
That's very true, and I can relate to it a lot because the whole reason we're even talking and having this podcast, it's basically the result of this whole pandemic thing. Because in our usual lives, I was because I just to give you a brief introduction, like we basically own a small wrestling, like an indie wrestling company in our city.
Mhm.
We're, and there was wrestling before, but not up to the level that we're trying to bring it to. It's very like classic, um, a traditional wrestling type, which is not necessarily the same thing as uh, WWE or TNA or the type of wrestling that you and I are very fond of. And so people tried to do that and they failed. So we were so busy trying to do that, but the whole pandemic thing happened, and obviously without people we can't have wrestling because 50% of it is audience. So I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen they did WrestleMania without people, and it really didn't feel like WrestleMania.
It was the
And
weirdest thing when I first saw
yeah,
it. I was like, oh, so strange. But
yeah,
go ahead.
there's like we did like it's not like we were doing bonkers with like thousands of people. I'd say like the max we'd ever gone was about 500, 500.
That's a lot.
But even, yeah, I mean, even if you got like 50 people, they can still cheer, they can still boo you, they can still give you that adrenaline rush that you need
Right.
to be, in the ring. So we had so many plans. But in any way, the short story is that I was, I had so much time on my hands because of that pandemic, because we weren't getting the time to do that. So I started the podcast. Like started off as a joke essentially, but then it moved on. It revolutionized itself, and now we're here, episode 28.
That's awesome.
So that's usually how things work out. But there are some people who unfortunately didn't had the happy ending or still going on. But coming back to you and your career and everything and how it's gonna take off. So tell me about like something about, because the people who are listening to this podcast, some of them may not know you right now. So what about your early life? Like you as a kid, were you like into books and stuff? Like you were really like nerdy kid, or were you always into like wrestling and stuff and so on?
Ah, so my life before wrestling, um, the best way I can explain it is I lived under a rock. I
Oh,
didn't
that's okay.
like, like I didn't watch wrestling as a kid at all. I honestly just started watching wrestling
Hmm.
a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know it existed, to be honest.
Okay.
So before wrestling, I was living a very fast-paced lifestyle.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so my life was very much it was 180, and then one day I woke up and was like, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I went to the gym, and then I started fighting people, and like because I wanted to fight, but it was kind of like
Hmm.
some backyard stuff. So I was like
Yeah.
fighting, and I was like, I really want to learn how to do this for real, like because I
Hmm.
enjoyed it so much. And then go down that rabbit hole, and that's how I found wrestling, like because I wanted to learn how to actually put people in submission holds, how to
Yeah.
make people want to tap out, and how to be loud and obnoxious just the way I naturally am, and have it be cheered for. So
Hmm.
it just found me in wrestling. So a year and a half, kind of almost 2 years, but it hasn't really been that consecutive. um I found myself here, and then when I found myself in wrestling, it turned out that I was like what wrestling wanted.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh crap, you guys like me? And they're like, yeah, I like you. And I'm like, great, let's keep it up. So yeah, so right now I'm just I'm learning to get the tools because I'm obviously so far behind. Like, again, I
Mm-hmm.
just started watching wrestling. I'm so far behind. Like, I'm watching wrestling like in the 90s, like early Undertaker, early Hulk Hogan, early all these people, because I have to do my homework. But
Yeah.
and a weird thing about me is like, I hate watching TV. And it's
Okay.
not,
Admittedly, everybody does now.
yeah, like so for me, like, because I watched TV so much as a kid and so much
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing nothing with my life, that like
Mm-hmm.
to watch it now after I'm actually doing something is like
Mm-hmm.
but I have to do it, so it's like but
Yeah,
that's
I
how
mean, there's I like that. I think there's also like a YouTube where you can like binge watch a lot of the matches. So you don't necessarily like have to use TV because I don't. I haven't used television ever since like 2008. So I know like anything I need to like study or anything, I need to like I can just go YouTube. But I'm one of those like guys that I grew up watching wrestling. Like I was probably about 4 or 5 when I started watching it. So
oh
and
wow.
that's yeah, I was very early because my grandfather was heavily into wrestling. So he used to watch it, and then I used to sit with him, and I used to watch it with him. So that's how I got into the wrestling. And I did all that. We didn't really have that backyard stuff because we didn't really have trampolines and stuff like that. So we used to use our parents basically their mattress and everything. And so um, yeah, so me, my brother, and I mean, I probably I'm just saying this on every podcast, but me and my brother and my friends, but we wrestled a lot as kids. Like we were probably 10 or maybe more than like 15 or so when we used to do this, and we like broke each other's elbows. We had like
Oh
teeth fell out, so
my
it
god.
was like, but that's how it
It's
goes.
really
But then
crazy.
what
I wish I
happens?
didn't watch
Yeah.
wrestling as a kid because I didn't have that much supervision. So I probably would have accidentally killed myself or somebody. So that's probably a good thing. But man, that sounds. Whew. But you
Yeah.
made it out. Nobody died, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you're watching this and you're heavily into it, like I'm sure it might have happened to you as well. Like when you started watching, and then once you're really into it, you get this feeling like I want to do it myself. I don't care where I do it. I want to just do it. I want to just put rock bottom on somebody. I just want to hit somebody with an RKO. So that's usually how it is. So when you got into the wrestling stuff and you actually got into the training and stuff, and you said that you wanted to do your homework. What was your first impression of like a proper wrestling match from start to finish? What was your first impressions about it?
um, the I would say it was more like you mean like learning the psychology of it,
No, I
or
mean
like
like the
going.
first time you actually saw like the first time you actually sat down, uh, mentally preparing yourself. Okay, I'm gonna watch this whole thing, how it starts, how it ends, and once it ended, what was your like initial reaction to that?
I mean, let's do it. My initial reaction was that it was easy. Like I can do this. It's easy. You know.
Oh, everybody thinks that. Everybody
Right.
thinks that.
Right. Exactly. I
Yeah.
was like, this is easy. This is not blah blah blah. I can do this with my eyes closed. And then when it came time
Mhm.
to just do the most basic of things, even things that didn't even involve other people, but just you like taking a bump. You know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
like that is like, wait, you want me to do what? You just want me to throw my body? Like, okay. So it looks easy, but in reality, it is not. Like, and I keep telling
Oh
people
no, it's not.
wrestling is real. And I want to get t-shirts made that says Rain River says wrestling is real, because I hate it when people are like,
Mhm.
it's fake, right? It's fake. Like, it's nothing is fake about wrestling. The only thing that's considered fake is like us hitting each
Mhm.
other or whatever. But real talk, if you're going up, say for example, I'm 5'10", I'm almost 200 pounds, and I go to elbow you. If
Mhm.
I don't hit you in the right spot, or if you don't brace yourself for that, you are gonna get hit and you are gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? It
Oh, of
is
course,
real.
yeah.
Yeah, the choreography is real. The athleticism is real. The pain of messing up is real. There's nothing fake
Yep.
about wrestling. I don't care what anybody says. It's real. For sure.
It is, I'm sure the first time you took like an actual bump, you would be like, "Oh, this is much harder than it looks on the TV."
Yeah. Yeah, the first time the bump was just the example, but I feel like maybe what really kind of threw me is for the first time when I did a sunset flip.
Hmm.
And when I did the sunset flip, I was watching my coach do it, and he was like, "Yeah, just grab his legs from behind, and then you just flip over him, you know?" And I was like, "No,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you mean?" And so he got in the ring with me, and he forced my body to go over.
Hmm.
Like when I was coming for him, like how he was like,
Hmm.
bent down. And as
Yeah.
I'm coming for him, he stood up so quick that I had no choice but to go over that man. And it was
Mhm.
like a whirlwind. And that's when I was like, that was the first time I was in shock when I did a sunset flip. Like having to flip
Mhm.
over
Mhm.
somebody, land on my back. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying. But after that,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of my fears dissipated a little bit. There's still a couple of things that I'm scared to do, but I want to do them. So I'll get to them. I probably just need my coach to just throw me around some more, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool, I got it."
All right. Okay. And so, like, when you started watching into the wrestling, and obviously, I'm sure you might have started with WWE. Who was the first person that you really got inspired by?
China. China for sure. And the main reason, I mean, I know China was on like that stuff. Like I know she was on steroids and stuff like that. So that's not what
Mhm.
was impressive about her. But what got me with China
Mhm.
is, so here's this. She was a okay wrestler, right? She didn't
Yeah.
really talk because of her voice, and her acting was awful. Her selling was okay. It wasn't anything to super write home about if she would have been anybody else. But the thing about China is she was 5'10"
Mhm.
and 200 pounds of solid muscle. And before she ever spoke, before she ever wrestled, before she ever did anything, all she did was walk out and everybody shut up. And
That's
that
true.
right there was like a key to me. Like that's what I want, because I want to be able to grasp everyone's attention before I do anything. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I want all eyes on me. I'm 5'10" and I'm working my way to 200. I'm 185. I'm having a hard time breaking 186. But I told you, I'm not
Mhm.
on that stuff like China was. So it's a little harder. So, I'm working my way to that. And once I hit that 200 pounds, being 5'10",
Mhm.
being,
Mhm.
being black and being a woman, stepping out into that ring, everybody's going to shut up and be like, oh snap, what's she about to do? And they're gonna have all their eyes on me. And then once I start getting loud and start, suplexing people, they're gonna be like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
Like
true.
a
That's true.
monster. That's what I want to be. I want to be a beast. I want to be a monster before I even do anything. So that's who I was inspired by. I just found that astounding. She was bad to look at. I mean, she was so bad. Like when you see China, her body was cut and perfect. She was fine. And everybody was like, you know what I mean? So that's the effect I want. I'm definitely inspired by that. I just got to do it all naturally. That's all.
So the next natural question that anybody would get after that response is that beast going to be a savior, or is that beast going to be a destroyer? Because
Ah,
it can go either way.
so it's so okay. This is a small pet peeve I have with wrestling. Okay, now mind
Mhm.
you, I've only been doing this for a year and a half, so I'm learning and accepting and all of that. So
Mhm.
one thing about me, I'm not a gimmick. A lot of
Okay.
wrestlers have a gimmick. They have, oh, I'm going to do this for that. I'm not. Everything that's me is me. And all of my promos are based off of real life. They're not something
Okay.
I just came up with in my head. Like my last promo of me wrestling people in daycares and banks, like I've done that before. So it's very real for me. So but there's also days where I'm really, really nice and I'm really sweet and I'm really like, oh, come here, give me a hug. Like, yay, let's be friends. But then I'll like switch up on you and I don't care. I don't care if I was just smiling in your face. So for me, it's hard to pick if I'm going to be one or the other because I'm both every day of every second. So for somebody to be like, oh, I can only be a baby because of X, Y, and Z, or I can only be healed because of X, Y, and Z, I don't fit into either of those categories alone. Like I'm like both of them. And like, for example, I did a match at training, and I was supposed to be baby or whatever. And so there was a moment where I was doing a shine moment or a comeback or whatever. And I had like, boom, powered him on the ground. And then while he was on the ground, me naturally, I would have kicked him. Right? Because I don't care if you could have stolen from me, I'm gonna beat you like you stole from me, and then I'm gonna embarrass you, even if you did the wrong thing for me. So when my coach stopped me, he said, "Why did you kick him?" I said, "Because that's what I would naturally do. I would kick him." And he was like, "Well, that makes you seem like, an a-hole because that's not what a baby does." You know what I mean?
Right.
So it confused the audience, and I'm like, "Well, now I'm confused because that's what Rain Rivers does." You know what I'm saying? Like, I get I'm the baby, I'm the good guy, but I'm also going to jack you up. Like, don't play with me.
Right.
So it's hard for me to answer that.
In simple layman terms, you're basically the Deadpool of wrestling.
The Deadpool? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Do you know Deadpool?
Yeah, I know who Deadpool is. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I like to do my own thing, my own rules, my own kind of get in, get out. So I'm trying to recalibrate my brain into being one or the other, but it's hard because, like I said, I'm not a gimmick. This is real life for me.
All right. Well, I think that's more convenient because when you're actually following a gimmick and you're actually doing the character and stuff like that, so that basically requires a lot of layers and everything. But if you're really true to yourself and not really getting into the character stuff, then you can avoid a lot of those things and just be yourself. So I think that could also be a good thing, and I'm sure it'll proven to be a good thing for you. Um, so one thing, I'm not sure if you've seen this. There is a company out there. It's called CZW. Have you ever heard of CZW?
CZW?
Yeah, yeah. It's a company called CZW. Basically, what they do is they do all these kind of death matches where they just like basically nasty stuff, like putting somebody with needles in their mouth and putting glass tubes over their head, stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah. That's what I wanted to
I
know.
don't even like TLC
Because
matches.
Mhm. Because some people do like that extremism in their profession. Like, yeah, dude, I'll take a needle. I'll take a stapler in my head. I don't care. So I don't think you'll be into that kind of stuff or anything like that, right?
No, because like even with regular TLC matches and stuff like that, I don't even really like to watch them. I think that it's a boy thing to want to go through a table or fight in a steel cage or to hit somebody with a ladder. I'm not actually a violent person. I'm an aggressive person. Very, very much. I'm very, very aggressive, but I'm not violent. And like a lot of people ask me like, oh, why don't you do boxing or why don't you do MMA? Like, I don't want to get hit for real. Don't hit me in the face. And I don't want to hit you in the face. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually a loving, caring human being. And I want whoever I'm fighting to be okay in the end. I don't want to That's not for me. I'm not into all of that. Now, if we get hurt because it's our job, like at the time, you know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody took a wrong flip or something like that. We get hurt. Injuries are part of the game, but being just violent is, for me, is not. I don't want to hit nobody with a steel chair, and nobody better come at me with a steel chair, because then I'm gonna have to follow you home and mess you up. For
That's
real.
true. But in there, when, because I know some people do this, and it's also a thing in the wrestling. When you're training and you're actually not following what is supposed to be followed, the other person would hit you for real, and they'll mess you up
Oh yeah.
before you could mess them up.
Yeah, that's very true. And I've learned that a few times when I've forgotten a spot. And instead of, and these are the vets that are going with me doing this, of course, but what anybody compared to me is a vet. But absolutely, there's times when I've forgotten a spot and I kind of stood there for a second, like trying to think, and they're just like, and I'm like, ah! Like, oh shit, we're back in the game. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's important.
you're
Like when,
you're actually lucky that you only got like an elbow. The last time I forgot a spot, I got hit with a kendo in my face. So
a
you're lucky with that.
Kendall,
Like
like reading thing.
a kendo stick, not with a cream or anything. That wouldn't hurt anybody. You,
No, I thought you
yeah,
meant like the reading tablet, but a
no, 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 no,
candlestick
no.
is
Like a can,
hilarious.
yeah, because it was a no holds barred match, so anything goes. Like there were kendo sticks, there were like all these kind of different objects to use. Whatever you call objects in
Right.
wrestling, is it's a broad term. If anybody says what can I use objects, that basically mean anything. It could be
Anything.
thumbtacks, it could mean anything, because objects are like everything. Uh,
Oh my gosh, no,
yeah.
that's awesome.
So that
That's funny though. I would have liked to see that. It's like a candlestick come hurling, just
I I might have like a clip of that somewhere lying around. I'll probably be
oh, just
sharing that.
send it.
Um, but what's best thing about wrestling, which I personally like, which isn't really that common right now, and I want to know from your point of view as to why it's not, and that's intergender matches.
Is
I
what is
don't
it?
the intergender matches, like the boy girl
Intergender
matches. Like,
matches?
yeah, have you seen them?
I prefer intergender matches, honestly, because women are small. I'm 5'10". I'm 185 pounds. The tallest chick at my training facility is like, okay, she's 5'9", but
Hmm.
she doesn't have no weight on her. She's like maybe 140, right? So I got
Okay.
45 pounds on her. And then even in the WWE,
Mhm.
like one of the tallest girl, I think her last name is Fox, Alicia Fox, I think.
Alicia Fox. I don't
She's
think
a
she's
tall
active
black girl,
anymore.
right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Yeah, she's 5'9". She's, I think, the tallest one in the WWE. She's 5'9", but
Mhm.
she's like 130 pounds, you know?
Mhm.
So me going against women, it's almost like a man going against a woman, really, because I'm so big and I'm so tall. And a lot of the
Mhm.
moves that I want to do, they can't hold me. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to, like one of my best worker friends, her name is Shalandra Royale. I love her.
Mhm.
She's a phenomenal wrestler, but she's 5 foot. She's 5'1", 5 feet, and her and I can't, like, for example, if I wanted to do a crucifix, like I can do a crucifix into a sunset flip or a crucifix into a bulldog. I can't do
Mhm.
it with her because she's so short. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but with
Mhm.
men, the problem with me and men is that the men are so big. So,
Yeah.
so it's like I either have a really like an okay looking match trying not to hurt this woman,
Mhm.
or I really have to go in it with this man. So that's part of the reason. Actually, it's part of the reason. The China thing was reason number one, but the fact that I have to go against men mostly to make it look believable. That's why I'm trying to get to those 200 pounds, because
Mhm.
the men are knocking me around. You know, they're 6'4", 250 pounds, throwing me around. So now I got to put the weight on, so that way I'm not a rag doll. So I
True.
feel
Mhm.
more comfortable being in an intergender match than I do in a women's match,
Mhm.
because I mean, let's face it, women are small, and I'm not a small woman. I'm almost 6 feet tall, almost 200 pounds, and a girl that's 5'7", a buck 28. Realistically, if wrestling's real, realistically, she's not gonna beat me unless, you know, she's super, super quick and she's really agile and really stealthy and all of those things in real life, you know, and shoot life. So, but even in wrestling, there's still just not a lot we can do. But I will say, what's her name? Tessa Blanchard. That
Yeah, so
girl,
Blanchard, yes.
she is, oh my God. She's like, what, 5'5" or something like that? I don't know how small she is. But that girl, oh, she be moving. I'm scared of her. But I want to fight her. I want to
She's also
wrestle her.
I think she's also holding like the biggest title of her company right now.
Oh,
So
is
at
she?
yeah, she's the TNA Impact World Champion, which wasn't really given to any girl before her. So she's the first ever to hold, like, yeah. I mean, like, that's
First?
just like, yeah, that's just like a woman winning a WWE championship. That's that big.
But she proves it. Like, I've seen her in matches with I can't remember who their names are, but they were some pretty big dudes. You know what I mean? Not
There
no
were, yeah.
like, yeah, like some 6 foot something guys with some really big weight on them, and she was messing them up. I was like, oh my God.
That's
I
true.
was terrified
Yeah,
and I was impressed at the same
she's
time. But
she's
yeah,
really,
if somebody
yeah,
like her, I would wrestle her.
she's really badass. But then again, like, I'm all for intergender matches, but I don't know how you would feel like having a match with like Joey Ryan, because he just wants everybody to just hold his parts. That's that's just part of his gimmick.
No, I don't know who that is, but
Mhm.
I could tell you no.
I mean, he's pretty big on the indies. He hasn't really made it to any big company yet. So look him up. He's fun to
What's
watch.
his name
Joey
again?
Ryan. Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan. Is that the guy that comes like his entrance is like thrusting or something? Like
Now he has a bad mustache and he looks like 80s porn guy.
okay.
That's pretty much
I'll look
him.
him up. Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan, yeah, and his signature move, like everybody has signature moves, like the Undertaker does this, Triple H does the DXI. His signature move is he makes his opponent grabs his part. That's apparently what he does. So, and he has been in multiple intergender matches. God knows who agrees to do that. So that's that. But if you ever like, I know you're gonna make the big debut soon. By the way, when is it? Like, I'm sure it's gonna be anywhere after this whole lockdown thing is over, right?
Yeah, so I actually I'm going to be having a documentary being made about me leading up to my first match.
Okay.
So I've had a pre-recorded match up in Detroit with
Mhm.
Missile Dropkick Wrestling Association,
Okay.
who is ran by Lou Crank.
Mhm.
And that was really cool. It was a good experience. I got to learn a lot. There's no live audience, and it was pre-recorded, and I wasn't in my gear
Mhm.
officially, um, but it was a match. So
Okay.
that helped me to kind of get more into it without like, because I messed up a lot,
Mhm.
and I was just like, oh my
Everybody
God, thank
does.
God there's no audience here. Like, thank God. And, you know, I was able to pull from that. So, so now with, I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to plug my phone back in. So yeah, with the whole Corona and everything, where, my training facility is open, but we're just waiting for a few things right now. And
Okay.
then once that all happens, then we're gonna get into the recording for the documentary, be leading up to my match. And so I don't really know when. I mean, who knows when anything's gonna be really nowadays? It's kind of just like a
Yeah.
blink of the ear, since the world is all ending. But
Apparently, for the 10,000th time now.
bruh, right. Like I saw this meme that said like sliding into July, like please, please be normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just honestly, it's a day by day thing right now.
Yeah.
Before all of this happened, obviously things were really into the rotation. But I feel like with this, it just gives me more time to perfect myself. It gives me more time to learn. It gives me more time to create dope promos. It gives me more
Yeah.
time to watch wrestling and really get my stuff down. So when it does
Mhm.
come time for me to have that first match, I go in there and I kill it. You know what I mean? I completely murder it. And I have to make sure too, because it's going to be recorded and shown to people in movie festivals and stuff like that. So I need to make sure that this documentary crew that's going to be taking their time out to follow me around, I give them something worth recording.
That's true, and we expect nothing less from you. To be honest, we really want everybody who's giving their best to go out there and kill it every day and be the best version of themselves every single day, because it's not about how hard you worked on Sunday, it's not about how hard you work on Tuesday. The consistency is the key with this business, especially with this business. um, One thing that you mentioned a few minutes ago, and I kind of forgot about bringing that up, and I want to do that right now. You mentioned like people coming up to you, like do MMA, doing stuff like that. So people who are watching this and they happen to also watch MMA and stuff like that, how would you tell them like how wrestling is more complex and more tricky than MMA or something like that? How would you describe it as different?
Oh, okay. Well, one, it's a huge difference with an MMA. Now, I don't do MMA, obviously, so correct me if I'm wrong. But MMA, the objective of the game is to
Mm-hmm.
beat your opponent, right? To
Practically, yes.
Right. Whether it's that you got to outsmart them, you got to think before they think, you got to
Mm.
trick them, you got to get them when they're not looking, right? So,
Yeah.
so you're coming with the element of surprise
Mm.
in MMA. In wrestling, you both have to be on the same page. You both have to be in the same book, in the same genre. If your opponent is not where you are
Mhm.
mentally, you're going to look terrible and you're both are going to fail. And you're only as good as the person that you're working. And if the person
Mhm.
that you're working doesn't know their stuff, doesn't know what they're doing, isn't paying attention, is behind, and all of those things, it's going to look
Mhm.
crappy, and everybody's going to look at you like, what are they doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So in MMA, it's easier to outsmart your opponent than it is, like it is in wrestling, to be on the same page and communicate with your opponent. You
Yeah.
have to have that level of communication. And people in general, the human race kind of is almost really bad at communicating with each other. That's why there's so many misunderstandings in life. Like,
True.
oh, I
True.
thought you said, well, I thought you said, I didn't say that. You know what I mean? So in wrestling, you have to talk to each other. You have to make sure that you guys are both up for the same task, or else it's just going to look bad. And that within itself, knowing that you have not only you to carry, but the other person as well, that's so much harder than MMA. It's an actual team effort while making it appear as though you're against each other.
That's
So that,
very true. Yes. Speaking of
yeah.
communication, when you like I know because I somebody gave me this advice. No, but like they didn't really give it to me. I found it on YouTube basically. So one thing that I learned is when you're like doing this entire communication while you're working out the match, be as vigilant as you can. Don't work like what John Cena does because John Cena sometimes yells so hard that people in the front seats can hear.
Oh
So
yeah.
he yells he yells too much. That's what CM Punk said, by the way. He said, CM Punk. And speaking of CM Punk, if anybody in the comment section come up to me like, "What happened to your face? My ring light just died." Have some respect for the ring, please. Anyways, we're actually reaching towards the end of the episode. We do have like a limited time for this. I really want this to be like 2 hours long right now because we're having so much fun, and very rarely do we have anybody on the podcast who I personally enjoy talking to because on the podcast, yeah, I know, same thing here. Because mostly what happens, like just like you and me, we're talking for the first time. I never saw you, you never saw me. Like this is for the first time we're interacting with each other, and the first time you're interacting with each other is on a video, and you're watching them, they're watching you. Like, so it's very very bizarre, but very rarely do you get to connect with somebody that quick, like we, something like we did. So it's really great, and
Yeah, I feel so special. I appreciate it. Look, man, you're easy to talk to too. That's
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
well. And there's a reason for that. I've basically took abuse from like Americans for like 12 years on a call center. So if you if you ever got a call, hey, you wanna buy this package, something like that, I'm probably one of those guys. I used to. I'm not anymore. I used to.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you want a loan? Hey, I'm from this bank. You want to do this? I used to do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
one question that I get, and I'm going to be honest with you. You didn't ask me so far, so I'm hoping you wouldn't either. One question that I get
I'm
from
sorry,
guests.
it broke up. What did you say?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What is it?
All right. Yeah, the one thing that people ask me afterwards is that you're not from America. How is your English so good? Like, dude, like rest of the world speaks English too. It's not so it's not so rare.
Yeah, I think that's just people's ignorance coming out. That's
Mhm.
all. You
All right,
know.
all right. Well, so we're in the final 2 minutes of our show. And what I do at the end of the show, I do it with everybody. So basically, what we do is we like do like a quick lightning questions. So it's like a lightning round at the end of the episode. So I ask like very rapid questions, so you don't have the time to think about them. So you hear the question, and you say whatever you have in the mind. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's start. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. You want to work out before the lightning questions? You want to do some of this? You want to work out before the lightning questions?
Do I work out for the lightning question?
No, 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 no. I was just asking. Do you want to work out? Do you want to work out before you do like get yourself ready for the questions?
Okay. 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 Okay.
Oh, you're literally doing this. Okay. Okay. All right. That'll do it. That'll do it. That'll do it.
All right. What is it?
Okay.
What's up? What's up?
All right. All right. All right. All right. First question. A place you most like to visit or travel to?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Well, any specific reason?
You can take $5,000 and live like royalty.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. Next question. Okay, what the hell did I write here? Oh, favorite childhood show.
Oh. Uh.
Oh, you don't have
Oh,
time.
next
Come on.
question.
What was it?
I don't know. SpongeBob.
Uh,
Arthur.
okay.
Maddie
All right. All right.
Schoolbus.
Okay. 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 All right. Yeah, just one, not 10,000. All right. Favorite WWE theme song.
Ooh, I can't even answer you on that one.
All right, like you haven't heard any of them, or you just don't
Well, I
decide it.
told you I'm still watching wrestling. I
Okay,
don't.
all right, no
Oh,
problem,
The
no
Rock
problem.
says. The Rock
Oh,
says.
there. Okay,
The
there we
Rock
go, there we go,
says.
there we go, there we go, there we go. I'm sure you're well aware of the top guys in the WWE by now. So here's one question for you. So you got three options. You're gonna get three names. They're all top-notch wrestlers, and the three options are you pick one of these guys. So you tell me which one would you hook up with, which one would you like to date, or which one would you like to just ignore? Like, even if they send you a DM, you're gonna ignore the crap out of them. Okay. Your options
Okay.
are Rock, Triple H, and John Cena.
Oh, okay. I would totally hook up with John Cena. I would totally date The Rock, and I would completely ignore Triple H.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was hoping that you would ignore John Cena because apparently all of his girlfriends do. But all right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Uh, Next question. Best female wrestler in 2020.
I want to. Oh,
Okay. What?
can I say? Can
Who?
I say Tessa Blanchard because
Of course. Yes.
yeah. Okay, I'll say Tessa Blanchard because she's the only one that really, really stood out to me.
Okay. Good. 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 All right. Final question. Where would you
Yes.
see yourself wrestling? Like which company in the next 5 years?
WWE or AEW or anybody who says I'm amazing and here's a check.
Okay. I'll 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 give you the check. You know, you probably won't be able to cash it anywhere because it's gonna be a fake one, but I'll give you one.
The check has to be
I'll give.
cashable.
All right, okay, no problem. I'll give you the check. It'll probably be for $10, but it'll still be a check.
Oh, okay, okay. I should look. You said it was the last question. We're on a time limit. I could be more specific.
Oh, you're dropping the phone a lot. Oh, there we
I
go.
am. It's on the charger, so it won't stand up
Oh,
for
it's on
me.
the charger. Okay. All right, all
Yeah.
right. Well, my apparently my ring light was on charger as well when it died, but I don't know. But in any case, well, that was our lightning round. Actually, you did play very well, and you did answer all the questions pretty well. But I do am disappointed that you're not very well versed with the theme songs. So definitely work on the theme songs.
Okay, well, send me some of your favorite guys that have some of your best theme songs, and I'll watch those. I do
Oh, I'll
live, so
definitely will.
where I watch wrestling, so
Okay. All right.
so just send me some.
Oh, actually, that wasn't the last question, by the way. The last question was, what was your favorite wrestling move? That was the last question.
Oh, I really, really like doing the Hurricane Rana. It's so much fun. That and flying head scissors, I really love. Oh, and I like doing sliced bread.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
three are like those three are really on my top right now.
Okay, great, great. Well, that was your lightning round, and you did play very well. And if technically, when somebody wins, you have to gift them something. Unfortunately, we don't have anything gift right now, but I have this paper I wrote with all the questions, so I'm gonna send you a copy of this if you
Okay.
like. And of course, our best wishes from me, from my entire team, from my entire roster. We share this with everybody so people can learn. So I also use these podcasts as a part of a training session with my roster so they can learn from people from all over the world what they think about wrestling, how they perceive it, and stuff like that. So I'm sure they're going to love you and all. And just best of luck with whatever you do. It was really amazing having you on the podcast. Before we go, anything you want to say to your fans?
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you for having me on your show, on your podcast. It's a great experience. Thank you for everybody who's listening. And to anybody who does want to check me out, Rain the Stallion Rivers _ on Instagram. Please send me any matches you want me to see, anything that you think like, hey, I think it would be good doing this. I'm always
Mhm,
looking for helpful tips and things like that. And I love to hear
mhm,
input from other people because obviously everybody's been in this a lot longer than I have. So
mhm.
that's kind of my message. And, keep watching for me because I'm going to keep doing big, bad things. I'm going to keep being loud and being the stallion, baby. So,
That's true. Okay, we're also gonna include the link to Rain's Instagram in the description. So definitely give her a follow on Instagram. You won't be disappointed. And that I can guarantee that they won't be. All right. All right. Well, with that being said, we're at the end of our podcast. So thank you for everybody who joined us. Thank you for everybody. If you like this podcast, do share with your friends, with your family. Tell them about race. Tell them how good she is. Tell them about our company and stuff like that. So until next time, we'll meet, guys. Thank you so much and have a safe day.
Thank
Bye.
you.